This is Thierry Henry, a gunner for life who became the king of Highbury after conquering England with his prolific goal-scoring feats. And this is how Thierry Henry became the Arsenal legend. It was September 1999, and 20-year-old Henry had just arrived at Arsenal from Juventus. He spent the previous season on loan at Monaco, and he was already a full French international. His blistering pace, power, and trickery had scouts salivating over his potential. But many felt that his development would be best served if he stayed in his homeland. However, Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger had other ideas. He saw something special in Henry and took a chance on him. But it didn't pay off immediately. Henry scored just 4 goals in his first season at Arsenal, and it was until the following campaign that his talents really started to shine. Henry's evolution into a complete striker happened seamlessly under Wenger's guidance. He transformed from an explosive but raw winger into a world-class finisher who could hold up the ball and bring others into play. In his second season, Henry formed a formidable partnership with Dennis Bergkamp, with the pair linking up brilliantly to help Arsenal finish second in the Premier League and reach the FA Cup final, which they lost to a last-minute goal from then Manchester United substitute Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. After tasting defeat in the biggest games, Henry was determined to go one step further the following season. And in 2001-02, Henry helped Arsenal win their first league title in 7 years. He was now an established star for club and country, and he was just getting better. That was until his form suddenly dipped in the 2002-03 season. Henry managed only 13 league goals as Arsenal finished second behind Manchester United. Many wondered what had happened to the electric forward who had terrorized defenses across Europe. But Henry had actually been playing with a broken metatarsal and was far from 100%. Once recovered, he returned to form and style, scoring twice against his former club, Juventus, in the Champions League. The 2003-04 season would go down in history as one of the greatest in Premier League history. Arsenal went the entire campaign unbeaten and won the championship with 90 points, beating United, who were defending champions, to the title. Henry was at the heart of everything good about the Invincibles, scoring 30 goals in all competitions and winning the Golden Boot. Despite reaching the Champions League final, where they lost to Barcelona, and retaining their Premier League crown, Henry was forced to settle for second best again. They were pipped to the title by a single point after a dramatic final day, and they exited the FA Cup in the quarterfinals. While Henry did manage 25 league goals that season, it was enough to earn him the Golden Boot, as he finished one behind winner Ruud van Nistelrooy. Henry's frustration at being unable to get the better of Manchester United was clear, and it looked like his time at Arsenal was coming to an end when he handed in a transfer request in the summer of 2006. But after a protracted and very public battle, he stayed at Emirates Stadium. To his credit, Henry put any thoughts of a move to Barcelona behind him and enjoyed another prolific campaign, scoring 25 goals as Arsenal reclaimed the Premier League title. But his relationship with the fans was never quite the same again. After publicly criticizing them for their lack of support during his contract dispute, Henry went on to score another 20 league goals as Arsenal finished fourth in 2007-08. And it was during this season that Henry broke Ian Wright's all-time club record of 185 goals. Only a few weeks later, he left Arsenal to join the MLS side New York Red Bulls. After 3 years in the U.S., during which he won the league's Golden Boot in 2010, Henry returned to Arsenal on loan and scored a spectacular solo goal against his former side, Tottenham Hotspur. He also grabbed a dramatic late winner against fierce rivals Chelsea, as well as netting a stoppage-time equalizer against Manchester United. In total, Henry scored 228 goals in his 2 spells at Arsenal, making him the club's all-time top scorer, a feat which saw him crowned Arsenal's greatest ever player in the club's official 125th anniversary celebrations in 2009. Having left the Gunners for a second and final time in February 2013, Henry has since held various roles at the club, including a stint as a first-team coach under Arsene Wenger between 2018 and 2022. On November 2020, Henry scored a stunning solo goal against Tottenham in the North London Derby. Now, here's why we think Thierry Henry deserves the title of the Arsenal legend. At the time of his arrival in England, many questioned Wenger's decision to sign Henry due to his diminutive stature. Henry had always been the smallest player on the pitch. At 5'9", he was often targeted by defenders looking to make an example of the young Frenchman. But Henry used this as motivation, proving his doubters wrong with a combination of sublime skills, intelligent movement, and ruthless finishing. He developed into one of the most feared strikers in the world and was blessed with perhaps the coolest head in front of goal. His individual brilliance was summed up in his iconic solo goal against Tottenham in October 2003. Having picked up the ball on the halfway line, he weaved past three Spurs players before unleashing a low drive past Casey Keller from 20 yards. But it wasn't just his ability in front of goal that made Henry such an important player for Arsenal. Although not blessed with great height, he was an exceptional athlete with blistering pace over short distances and mesmerizing close control. This enabled him to hold up the ball with his back to goal and bring his teammates into play. Few will forget Henry's last-minute strike against Manchester United at Old Trafford in September 2003, which secured a 2-1 victory for Arsenal. But he also demonstrated remarkable powers of recovery, exemplified by his last-gasp equalizer against Birmingham City in March 2005, which rescued a point for Arsenal in the title race. When you consider that he netted 89 times in 124 outings for France, becoming the country's record international scorer in the process, it's clear that Henry possessed one of the deadliest finishing boots in football history. In fact, only Eusebio and Ronaldo have scored more goals than Henry at international level. Many people would argue that Henry was at his most lethal during the Invincibles season of 2003-04, when he fired Arsenal to their first and only Premier League title without losing a match. During that campaign, he helped the Gunners break a number of records, including going the entire 38-game league season undefeated and matching Preston North End's 1888-89 record of going an entire top-flight campaign without defeat. It's hard to imagine Arsenal's rise to prominence in the early 2000s without Henry. He truly was the talisman during a period in which the club established itself as one of the biggest in the world. The North London outfit were known for their attractive style of play and committed never-say-die attitude. And Henry was the perfect embodiment of these ideals. During his pomp, there was no better sight than Henry racing away from the opposition defense. With every fiber of his being, he epitomized the phrase unplayable, and defenders regularly resorted to fouling him in a desperate attempt to stop him. Such was his influence that rival fans often reserved their loudest cheers for him. Such was his status as a modern-day great. Henry played a pivotal role in helping Arsenal become one of the first Premier League clubs to gain worldwide recognition. His celebrity status helped turn the club into a global brand and helped attract some of the biggest stars in the game, including Cesc Fabregas, Samir Nasri, and Robin van Persie. No matter where you sit in world football, there is little doubt that Thierry Henry is one of the greatest strikers the game has ever seen. He was simply a joy to watch at his best, and his record speaks for itself. He won 2 Premier League Golden Boots and 3 Football Writers Association Footballer of the Year awards. And he finished third in the 2005 FIFA World Player of the Year award, while also being named in the FIFA 100 list of the world's greatest living players in 2004. Henry truly was the king of Highbury, and it's unlikely that anyone will dethrone him anytime soon. What do you think? Is Thierry Henry the greatest Arsenal player of all time? Comment below with your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos.